Well, the first thing we have to do is just, like I always tell you guys, we have to worry about ourselves. We had a rough game on Saturday, as everybody know. The guys played super hard. And, you know, a lot of people might say, looking at our game last week, you know, for 10 minutes out of that game, you take 10 minutes away, you were pretty proud of the effort the guys played with. And then this week we got another challenge. We got a team that's a older veteran team in South Ave. They got great skill, big physical offensive line. So, you know, we'll have our work cut out for us, and we'll have to have a good week of practice to prepare for these guys. They're very explosive and they make big plays.
How much of what they do is the running game as opposed to like Georgia State? Like, is it a big portion of what they've done on offense, just the power running game?
Yeah, so far, the running back, they got two really good running backs. Webb and the number 14, he's a really good back. They complement each other really well. They do a good job with formations and shifting and moving and get the matchups that, you know, that they want. It's going to be, like I said, a challenge for us, especially with them coming off of course, a little layoff. They're preparing for us and coming off with two pretty much explosive games they had. I mean, I think, like you said, 110 points, and I think the last game they might have been a school record for them with yardage. I think they was over 600 and some yards. So it seemed like they had made significant progress as the season has went on.
Y'all just played a really physical running back, and you're about to play another one. So how would you compare those two?
I think both backs are unique in their own way. They both fit what their team does well. Last week, you know, you have to deal also with their quarterback last week. He was 6'3", 225 pounds. So he complemented the running back really well. And this week it's a two-headed monster at running back. And the quarterback, he does a great job of pulling the ball down and running as well. And even when they ain't been up on people, the bag-up quarterback, he comes in and he's just as explosive as the other guys. So they did a great job of recruiting guys to fit their scheme. And I think they coaches do a good job.
The last, or at least from my vantage point, I think the last three offenses that you guys have matched up against is probably the top tier of the league right now. Mm-hmm. How much does, you know, matching up with a Texas State offense, matching up with a Georgia State offense, does that prepare you guys for? I know schematically it's not going to be the same, but just kind of going up against offenses that are really efficient and can score, how much does that prepare you guys for what you'll see on Saturday?
Yeah, it helps a lot. And, I mean, to be honest with you, ever since we, you know, of course, played Minnesota, I mean, Minnesota was a team, they was big, physical out of the Big Ten, and they wanted to run the football. And so, you know, going into it, as the weeks has went by, you know, our guys, you got either two choices, is to either want to play that type of game or just lay down and let them run the football. And I think every week our guys have prepared to go in and battled and knew what we was going to get and accepted the challenge that we was going to get. And you know, the first part of it is, you know, controlling the line of scrimmage. Like I said last week, we went into the game and except 10 minutes of the game, you feel pretty good about the line of scrimmage, what we was able to, you know, to do, especially in the second half. You know, a lot of people, they probably look at the game and say, well, UL went in and they made some hell of adjustments to what we were doing. But to be honest with you, we called the same plays we called in the first half, in the second half, but we executed better. And that's the key. Is the communication and execute. And that's something we keep trying to get the guys to understand. You know, right now, this week has been more, how many people can we get to communicate? You know, right now, you know, KC Osai and T. Lou, those guys are vocal for us, and sometimes you can get dependent on that. And even though you might know the answer and they might not see it all the time, you want other guys to start being more vocal. And I think this week, And that's what we've been harping on with them. Like, you guys understand what's going on as well. If one person don't see it, speak up and let's make the adjustments.
Sonny came in, Marcus went down. Are y'all okay health-wise?
Yeah, we're okay health-wise, and I think this time of the season, everybody, they getting bumped up, they getting banged. I was proud of Marcus because the first snap of the game, he's up in there, fighting. We stopped him from like 1 yard, and KC comes in, and he really, he hit him, and not meaningful, but rolled up on him. And, he goes to the sideline for a couple of series, but he toughed it out. And then Sonny the same way. Sonny toughed it out on Saturday. And so that's what you love from your older guys, that, they've been in the fire a little bit before, and they understand you're going to have to push your body a little bit to limits that, most guys would be like, I'm going to set this one out. And especially when you get down 20-0, it's easy to say, I'm just going to set this one out. But them guys didn't do that. They battled back and played hard. They played hard. Probably as a group, as the nose position, probably was their best game of the season as a group. They played well up front.
So, we saw South Alabama for years, saw them last year. Are they like, who are they most like? Are they like Texas State with a power back, or are they just more like Georgia State was?
They're a little different. They're a little different. They're a little mixture, a little bit of a lot of people, but they, like I said, they do a good job of formation in people and making shifts and movements, and if your communication and eye discipline. You hear people talk about eye candy all the time, and in the real world, regular candy, it's hard to go in the store and not pick some up. So you might go in the store for a soda, but you leave out with a soda and a Kit Kat or a Reese cup. So, but that's how it is in football too. Sometimes you're so eager to make a big play that you forget your real assignment because you saw something go across your face. And they do a good job of that. They keep you on your toes all game. They don't let you just settle in on them and get specific keys. They keep moving pieces to make sure to see, can you continue to focus and be disciplined enough with your eyes. So that's what makes them a little different. One of the good things with us a little bit, our offense give us some of that in practice every day because they shift and move. And so our guys, they see that type of movement. For these guys, it's just coming from different pieces. With us, it's more our tight ends, but them, they can do it with the back or the receivers moving around.
The quarterback, has he hit a different level? Is that trying to figure out why is this offense at times way better than it was, or seemingly better than it was last year? Has he hit a new level in terms of just reading defenses and everything? And what do you see?
Well, I think with any quarterback, the more snaps you take, the better you're going to get. You're going to see pretty much everything. After a while, it becomes the norm to you. Seeing rotations with the safety or seeing, the different pressures, you start to get confident, meaning you don't get rattled as well. You see a blitz come up in there, you early on, you get happy feet. You're trying to get out of there. But as you get older, you realize, yeah, it's coming, but it still ain't going to reach me. I still have time. And I think that's what their quarterback has did a good job. He's matured. And he understands the offense, his pre-snap reads. He know where he should go with the ball. And if something's not there, he know how to protect the ball and don't put them in a bad play. And he also got a good running game. So anytime you got a good running game, that takes a lot of pressure off of you because I don't have to make the splash play or the big play or the big throw. We can manage the game, and once we get the running game going, we can move the pocket a little bit with boots and different things like that. So I think that anybody would tell you that's a quarterback best friend. It's a good running game.
How much harder is it to, in film study of an offense that's got as many returners as these guys have, as many veteran upperclassmen guys that they have? How much harder in film study is it to identify those things that you guys can take advantage of once game day gets here, and kind of how different does a a senior-laden veteran offense look on film as opposed to an offense that's maybe breaking in a first-year quarterback or a first-year running back?
Well, the first thing you notice, a senior-led offense is up front, the communication. That them guys been playing together for a while, so certain things they can handle better than old offensive linemen that's still haven't gelled yet. That's the biggest thing, you know, that you notice. And they're not gonna panic. Meaning, if we get to them one time, they're not gonna, you know, go around, drop their head. They know how to fix themselves without the coach having to fix their technique. And that's what you see with those guys on film is, you know, they went to Oklahoma State. They're not rattled by Oklahoma State environment. You know, they make their calls and they go about their business because they've been playing together for a while. They believe in each other and they know each one of them got their own back. So that's going to be that's always a key. I mean, it's just like up front with my guys right now. Somebody would ask me like, man, your guys starting to play really good up front. But I'm like, yeah, this is the first time in back-to-back weeks we pretty much had everybody. Even though, you know, Mason Narcisse, this is his first time really playing and starting. And the same thing with Sonny and Jordan Lawson got hurt last year. But the more time they can spend together on the field, the better they get with the communication and the more confidence they have with each other. And that means a lot. And so that's what I see with South Al, though. I see those guys and not like they're gaining confidence, they already had it. And now they're starting to peak at the right time. And they playing good football. You can't take that away. 2 games, they putting up big time numbers.
So, y'all are already a confident team, but, it's got to be somewhat, we better step up. They're playing at a really high level.
Yeah, but, like I started off, we only can control what we can control, and we still haven't played a 4-quarter game ourselves. We haven't. And as the season goes on, every day in practice, you want to get better. So, like I told the guys today, so many people after the game, it's a win or a loss to a lot of people. And I tell my guys, we either gonna win or we gonna learn. That's how I look at it with my guys. And so when we win, that's great. When we learn, which we had 3 learning experiences this year, that mean, and I always put a real life scenario with it. When you make mistakes in the real world, if you learn from them, you don't make those mistakes again. If you don't learn from them, you continue to make mistakes over and over and over. It's the same thing. We either win or we learn. And like I said, the 3 learning experiences that we have is going to benefit us as the season goes on because we're going to learn from those mistakes that we made to give us that learning experience. And so they understand that point. And when you tell it to them like that, they understand what the job at hand we got to go do on Saturday.